So for this piece, we're just going to be using a really cheap screwdriver that I line around the garage as a base to use as a stem for this custom screwdriver. As kind of expected, it was a bit of a pain to take the handle off the stem. Took quite a lot of work with the hacksaw, just really working around to take the main bulk off. Once the main bulk of the handle was off, it was really just a case of sort of chipping away at that last little piece that was left over, using bits of the hacksaw and the small chisel just to prise it all the way from the stem. So we can see there that once it is taken away, you're just left with that real sort of nice stem piece of the screwdriver that we can now use to build the custom handle for. For this, we're going to be using a nice piece of beech. If you've seen the previous video, it's very similar to what we use for the custom hammer. Real nice solid wood. It's got some really nice grain to it. For this, I actually use a table saw just to cut that sort of main piece along the end, just more for time than anything. And then just brought in the sort of hand saw just to finish it off, just to make sure we can get sort of what we needed off, just to sort of reduce the amount left to carve off it. So then at this point, we can sort of start to get a bit of a rough idea of what it's going to look like, and sort of get an idea of the sort of scale of it as well. I know lots of people will have their preferred methods when it comes to sort of shaving and taking material off and carving. I've just found that by using the spoke shave, it gives sort of a real bit of flexibility and speed as well. You can really work and have some good control over how much material you're taking away. It's just really nice for sort of getting the rounded edges and the shapes on there as well. I think at this point, this was probably the piece that I was most worried about when working on this. It was how to get that sort of rounded edge at the bottom of the screwdriver handle. But I found that by sort of working really slowly and sort of chipping away, you can kind of start to create that dome. And actually, it sort of creates quite a nice honeycomb effect along the wood as well as you're taking it off piece by piece. So one thing I did find throughout this whole process was actually how to clamp the actual handle down, because at the minute I don't have a vise. So it was just a case of working up a bit of a makeshift clamp using a couple of pieces of wood just to really stop it from moving around and sort of giving you the stability for doing the bits of carving. So at this point I was very conscious that I wanted to make sure that I was sort of drilling in nice and level, so might not have been too effective, but just holding a sort of a small level on top of the screwdriver just gave a bit of a rough idea of sort of how level it was going in. So to actually fasten the screwdriver into the handle, I've used a 2-part epoxy. Just a personal preference to try and get something as sort of solid as possible, but I guess different people will have different methods and sort of preferred things that they like to use.